Hello everyone, Barb here from barbaderholt.closetoMyHeart.com. Well, today we're going to make this little card. I just love it. It was actually inspired by this scrapbook layout that I shared in a recent scrapbook page haul. I just loved how that glittery goodness showed up when I was creating this and thought it would make a beautiful card. So I gave it a whirl and I'm not unhappy with it. The thanks die was this one. It was a two-part die. It is finally sold out and makes me a little sad, but we're going to use it anyway because it's a goodie. And if you have something similar in your stash, use that. So let's get started. I have a panel. This panel measures 5.5 by 4.25. We are going to be cutting it down, but for now it's 5.5 by 4.25. I'm just laying the stencil down. Doesn't have to be in any particular place. I'm just putting it right there. You could do multiples at once if you wanted, if you were going to make more than one. I've got my texture paste. This is the Opaque matte, and I am gonna get a little out. It's like a frosting, and this is sort of frosting a cake. I'm not looking for perfect coverage. I'm gonna let it be a little bit sketchy in places, and as I go along, I'm taking this spatula and I am going flat to spread it out, spread my texture paste out, and then I come back over it at about a 45-degree angle. And I'm just gonna keep spreading. I like to try to get as much off of the stencil as possible. And I can scrape that back in the pot as long as it's still clean looking. And then this is press and seal. Just put that down first and screw on the lid. Then I'm going to take this Asteroid Stickles Gel stuff. This is really pretty. And I'm going to take my spatula, grab a little bit out, and just spread that right over the top. I'm not moving the stencil, I'm leaving it still, but I'm just rubbing it around. It's so pretty. Okay. My craft room is also my laundry room. So I have a sink in here. So I'm going to wipe off what I can off of the palette knife, and I'm grabbing the stencil and I'm going to run it to my sink and dump it in. I'm still here, just getting that into the sink to soak. You don't want to leave that texture paste and in that, if that dries, you've got a mess. So here we are. We need to set this aside to dry. I'd give it a good hour. Through the magic of TV, I have one here. So I've got letters. I used some vellum from my stash. This has got to be from 10 years ago, I swear. But I'm using it up. And then just black cardstock for the little letters. And, wait, we got a little tangledness going on here. Come on, let her go. There we go. This needs to be trimmed down. I start out bigger, but in the end, I want this to be a layer. So I've got my card base, which is the 5.5. Ooh, it's a busy one today. 5.5 by 4.25. To make a layer, I have this at 5.25 by 4. So I am going to just glue that on right now. ATG gun. So this needs to be a 1/4 inch smaller. So this needs to be 5 by 3 3/4. What I find works best when I'm doing something like this is to just go around the perimeter and take 1/4 of an inch off. I'm going to rotate, and here I'm going to bump this down 1/4 of an inch. And I've got my fingers on my guide here to keep things from slipping. Again, slicing 1/4 of an inch, and then this is the last side, and this is going to bring this down to 3 3/4 by 5. And here it is. Now I think we can, I'm going to really load this up because the paper does get a little warpy when you're using texture pastes and anything that's wet. And again, eyeballing, and see here we're getting our beautiful layers. Isn't that lovely? Then what I find very helpful is a set of reverse tweezers. So it's reverse. When you squeeze them, they open. When you let go of them, they close. These came with my Cricut. And you adhere each of these little letters, and you can see right where they go. Just like that. And I just love the little swoopiness of these letters. And I think this sold out recently. I think it was on the website for a very long time. Now you can always go on the website and look under the section labeled online only. That's where things go to live that are no longer in the catalog, but we still have, what do we want to call it? We still have inventory. So there will be, that's where a lot of the thin cuts go. So if there's a stamp and thin cut set that you didn't get a hold of in a catalog, unless it's sold out, it should be there in the online only section of the website. Look at this K. Isn't that cool? I just love it. And get these done. I love putting this on vellum. I just think it's so classic. Okay, so we have all the letters. Now I'm going to pick it up, flip it over, and I'm just going to attempt to put my glue mostly where the black letters are, to hide the glue a little bit, though because of the vellum and this glue dries clear, it should be okay. And I'm just looking to get a pretty decent border here between the left and the right side. I do recommend that you put something heavy on there. So a block works well. If you don't have blocks, use a book. Just something to weight that down a little bit so that it can really adhere well. And then I am going to put in a couple of these Journey glitter gems that I just think are so pretty. And Journey is our color of the year. So this will be available through the end of the catalog or while supplies last. I'm sure that things sell out. So pretty. So this one is all done and dry. Isn't that neat? I just love that. The other thing I thought would be cool is to take that stencil and do a little ink blending with regular inks. So this, a regular dye ink, not a distress ink. A distress ink activates with water, and when you put that on, it's going to start moving around. But if you do your inking with a dye ink, that will stay, and then you can shift your stencil around in a different direction and put your little glitters and stuff on there. I think that would look really pretty. I didn't do that this time because it was too late when I thought of it, but oh, isn't that beautiful? I just love that. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a blessed crafty day, and I'll see you next time.